Hey friends, welcome to Biblical Studies Today Book Chats. It's January 14th, 2025. Today marks 150 years from the birth of Albert Schweitzer. When we think about biblical studies, Jesus scholarship, there are a few figures that stand tall over the last several hundred years, and one of them is Albert Schweitzer and his publication in 1906 of the book, The Quest of the Historical Jesus. Schweitzer was born on the border between France and Germany, there January 14th, and 150 years ago. He studied at the University of Strasbourg in France, a remarkable figure. Went on to be a physician, a medical missionary in Africa, won the Nobel Prize for Peace, a biblical scholar, a musician, so many things that could be said, just a fascinating figure. His argument here, if we're thinking about the ABCs of the quest of the historical Jesus, is that Jesus and John the Baptist before him usher in this apocalyptic moment. They arrive on the scene in the midst of Jewish apocalypticism and the fervor of that in some strands of thought in the circles of Judaism of the day. And Schweitzer argues that this movement was taken up by John and Jesus, and they ushered in a completely new phase of it by their own personalities. One of the arguments that Schweitzer makes is that Jesus' personality, more than his personhood as God in the flesh, one man with two natures, divine and human. Schweitzer does not believe in any sense that Jesus was divine, but rather a magnetic, magnanimous figure of history. And it's his aura, his personhood that we should consider and think about. And it's him in us in a sense of a motivational figure, someone who we should be inspired by, that really should capture our attention and cause us to do good in the world. Here is Jesus the natural, not the supernatural. That's Schweitzer's argument. And his famous statement that Jesus, in the knowledge that he is the coming Son of Man, in just his own understanding, not sent from God, but just taking up this true figure of a hero Son of Man, lays hold of the world to set it moving on that last revolution, which is to bring all ordinary history to a close. It refuses to turn, and he throws himself upon it. Then it does turn and crushes him. It's this kind of hopelessness at the end that we have of Schweitzer's work, though he argues that Jesus as this great personality should inspire us to do good. No thought of resurrection, and very difficult from Schweitzer's work to understand the birth of the church or any supernatural events that would follow. Nonetheless, the benefit of Schweitzer's work is that we have here a history of German critical scholarship in the 19th century. Here it is in one volume, and Schweitzer's a good writer. It's really a page turner, and that's the benefit of the book. My concerns, I've stated them already. Schweitzer's argument and the benefits, but the concerns are many. There is such skepticism here that it's hard to walk away and understand how the New Testament comes to be. How would the New Testament, how would the church come to be in light of this skepticism and Jewish apocalypticism failing in the person of Jesus and his own self-understanding? Nonetheless, very valuable. Let me just wrap up with two other works, and many New Testament theologians are going to continue to interact with Schweitzer. Jesus and the Victory of God. N.T. Wright does a great job of interacting with Schweitzer and correcting in many ways, but the recent trends in scholarship and really the long shadow that Schweitzer has cast, it comes to fruition even in Craig Blomberg's very recent book, Jesus the Purifier, and thinking about the quest for the historical Jesus in John's Gospel, which many critical scholars would not think a realm of study. Mainly they're thinking about Mark, the other synoptics, but Blomberg's volume could be very helpful for you as well. For more book chats, go to biblicalstudiestoday.com. To study with us at MBTS, go to mbts.edu. Would love to have you study the New Testament with us. See you next time.